It was a stormy Friday evening when the doors of Maggie's diner slammed open with a gust of cold wind and the sound of heavy boots striking the wooden floor. The regulars stopped mid-bite, half-empty beer mugs hovering in the air, as 6 leather-clad bikers strode in. The biggest among them, a towering man with a thick beard and a scar slicing across his cheek, had eyes like steel. His name was Duke. The air felt heavier when he walked, and even the jukebox seemed to quiet down, as if intimidated. At the counter stood a young waitress named Lily, her hands trembling slightly as she wiped the surface with a towel. She was used to rude customers, but tonight felt different. Something about the bikers' presence filled the room with tension. None of them knew that before the night was over, the entire bar would be left speechless, and changed forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that restore your faith in humanity, then take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Tales. Your support helps us bring more true and inspiring stories to life. Lily was 24 but looked older, not in a bad way, but in the way someone does when life has taught them too much too soon. Her eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights, of sacrifices she never told anyone about. She moved quietly, efficiently, never drawing attention to herself. Most customers saw just a waitress, polite, shy, reserved. But none of them knew what she hid beneath her long-sleeved uniform shirt, the reason she never wore short sleeves, even in the heat of summer. Duke and his crew took their seats at a corner booth. They were loud, rough, and unapologetic, roaring with laughter that didn't sound joyful but dangerous. The kind of laughter that made the other patrons pretend not to hear. Lily walked toward them, tray in hand, trying to keep her composure. She'd been working there long enough to know that fear made things worse. The key was to stay calm, polite, invisible. "Evenin'," she said softly, her voice barely carrying over their noise. "What can I get you folks tonight?" They ordered burgers, fries, and rounds of beer. Duke's gaze lingered on her longer than necessary, as if studying her face. She could feel it, that slow, heavy stare that made her skin crawl. Still, she kept her head down and served them without a word. Hours passed, the diner growing quieter as the rain outside turned to a steady downpour. The bikers drank more, laughed louder, and the tension in the air thickened. Then, as Lily passed their table with a refill, Duke suddenly reached out, gripping her wrist. The entire diner froze. The glass pitcher she held trembled in her hand, spilling beer onto the floor. "Why do you always wear long sleeves, sweetheart?" Duke slurred, a cruel smile twisting his lips. "What are you hiding?" She tried to pull away, whispering that she needed to serve other customers, but his grip only tightened. The other bikers egged him on, laughing like it was some cruel game. And then, before anyone could stop him, Duke yanked hard at her sleeve. The thin fabric tore with a sharp sound, revealing the skin beneath. The laughter died instantly. Every single face in that diner turned pale. Because what they saw wasn't what they expected. Lily's arm was covered not in tattoos or scars of rebellion, but deep burn marks, faded, healed over the years, but unmistakable. The kind of scars that spoke of fire and pain. For a moment, the only sound in the diner was the hum of the neon light and the soft clatter of the pitcher hitting the floor. Duke's hand dropped as if he'd been burned. Lily stood there, frozen, eyes wide, her secret laid bare for the world to see. She turned away quickly, trying to cover herself, tears welling in her eyes. The room remained silent, every heart in that diner heavy with something they couldn't quite name, guilt, pity, shame. No one spoke, until a man sitting near the counter, an old trucker who'd been coming there for years, cleared his throat. "That ain't from no accident," he said quietly. "That's the kind of burn you get, when you save someone." The words hit the air like a stone dropped in still water. Everyone turned to him, then back to Lily. Duke's jaw tightened. "What are you talking about, old man?" he barked. The trucker took a long sip of his coffee, then looked straight at Lily. You're the girl from the house fire, ain't you? The one from Jefferson Road. I remember that story. The young babysitter who ran back into a burning house to save two little kids. Lily's tears broke free. She turned her face away, but it was too late. The truth had spread across the room like wildfire. Duke's expression shifted from confusion to disbelief. The trucker continued, his voice softer now. Everyone thought you didn't make it. But you did. You saved those kids. And you disappeared after that. Lily swallowed hard, her voice shaking. They were my little cousins. Their parents didn't make it. I was supposed to watch them for the weekend. I tried to get them out, but the house collapsed. I managed to pull them through a window, but, she looked down at her arms, her voice breaking. The fire got me before I could get myself out. The room was silent. The bikers who moments ago were laughing now sat rigid, ashamed. Duke, the man who tore her shirt, couldn't meet her eyes. He shifted in his seat, guilt spreading across his hardened face. After a long pause, Duke stood up slowly, his voice rough but quieter now. I didn't know, he muttered. I thought, I'm sorry. Lily nodded, not trusting herself to speak. She turned to walk away, but then Duke stopped her again, this time gently. From his jacket pocket, he pulled out a small chain, a silver cross, dented and scorched. He held it up, his hand trembling. Is this yours? Her eyes widened. Where did you get that? Duke looked down, his voice thick with emotion. My little sister, she was one of the kids from that fire. She's alive because of you. Gasps filled the room. Lily covered her mouth, overwhelmed. Duke's tough exterior crumbled, his eyes glistening. I was out that night, running with the wrong people. I came home to find everything gone. I blamed everyone, even God, for taking my family. I never knew someone saved her. He looked at her, his voice breaking. You saved her. Lily's tears fell freely now. The bar that once felt cold and hostile was suddenly filled with something new, warmth, forgiveness, humanity. Duke stepped closer, his voice trembling. She's all grown up now. Married. Got a little boy. She always said some angel pulled her from the fire. I never believed it till now. The entire diner was silent, every person caught in the raw emotion of the moment. Then, slowly, Duke took off his leather jacket, the same one that had once made him look invincible, and placed it around Lily's shoulders. You shouldn't be hiding those scars, he said softly. They're proof of the kind of heart this world doesn't see enough of. Lily looked at him through tears, nodding weakly. In that single moment, the walls that pain had built for years began to crumble. For the rest of the night, no one touched their drinks. Instead, stories were shared, stories of regret, of forgiveness, of second chances. The bikers stayed until closing, quietly helping Lily clean up, refusing to let her work alone. When they finally left, Duke turned at the door, giving her one last nod of respect, not as a biker to a waitress, but as a man to the person who had unknowingly given his sister a second life. As the rain eased outside, Lily stood by the window, watching the taillights fade into the night. She touched the cross around her neck, returned at last, and for the first time in years, she smiled. That night, the people at Maggie's diner didn't just witness kindness. They witnessed redemption, the moment when two broken souls recognized each other's pain and turned it into healing. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. And before you leave, comment below what kindness means to you. Your words might just inspire someone who needs it most. Special request to comment. Speech balloon, share your thoughts below. Have you ever witnessed an act of kindness that changed someone's life? Tell us your story. It might be featured in our next video on Kindness Tales.